Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director, David Riggleman. Coming up on this show, a remodeled skate park opens at Mountain Ridge Park, and find out about special programs the city offers for differently abled citizens. We'll talk about that. Of course, we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more with the councilwoman who represents Ward 6. You know who it is. Michelle Fiore, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Oh, it's so fun. I'm great. I love the weather. We've got the
finally
cool
cooled
weather.
off.
Yes,
I know.
yes,
October is here,
fabulous.
and it's about time.
It's
For a
boot time.
I know.
It's boot time. I
right
get to wear my boots now.
I know. And we got Halloween coming up, Thanksgiving, the holidays. Here we go again.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I know. And all the pretty Halloween balloons that are everywhere in all the stores, I just love them.
It is here. So you know Ward 6 like the back of your hand. It's your stomping ground. But for those of you out there not exactly sure what part of town we're talking about, well, don't worry. We're going to show you right there on the map. Ward 6 is right there at the top of the valley. If you live in that area or work in that area, then you are in the city limits of the city of Las Vegas. And if you're a resident out there, you're represented on the city council by Michelle Fiore, and she is here with us today. So let's talk about some things that are really cool. Mountain Ridge Park has a new feature that is going to be pretty cool for people who are into skateboarding and that kind of thing. You posted this on Facebook. You said the Mountain Ridge Skate Park is now open, and you got a special celebrity there with you, don't you?
I do, and let me tell you, that special celebrity, Aaron, he helped design the park. Number one, he is a world famous skater in his wheelchair. He designs wheelchairs for what he does. And he was there for our grand opening. He's amazing.
Look at this. He can do flips, you guys,
my God.
in his chair. Look at that.
And this is light. The things that this guy does, and with such a sense of humor, like he'll jump, and I kid you not, 30, 40 feet in the air, and he'll come crashing down. And people will run to him, and they'll be like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And he'll say things like, "Oh my God, I don't think I'm ever gonna walk again." I mean, he's such a character. So Aaron is one of my favorite celebrities, and I just love him and appreciate him. And so, you know what we're trying to do to all of the parks out in Ward 6 and all over the city is make them adaptive, so it can be very inclusive
for everyone. Yeah, regardless of their needs. Aaron Fotheringham, an incredible. You know, we first met him when he was really just a kid. Yeah. But he's a young man now and moving on with his life. So it's still incredible.
And he's married to a beautiful woman. And I know they grow up, David. They grow up. I mean, they grow up.
They do. And well, congratulations to Aaron. Thanks for your help on designing the park, and continued good luck to you. And that's a great feature out there.
Yeah.
So go check it out at Mountain Ridge Park. And then another celebrity, a celebrity of a different kind, you posted this on Facebook. You said, join us in saying congratulations to Onofrio Nono Zakari for being awarded the Purple Heart and the City of Las Vegas Citizen of the Month. And Councilwoman, the special story here is that Nono got that Purple Heart 77 years after he was wounded in World War II. He's 98 years old.
98 years old. And you know, I have to tell you, so many people put so much effort into getting him that Purple Heart. Zach Burgess came to my office, and Dan Burdish was working with me at the time. He's retired in Florida now. And Zach said, we've got to get this on. We've got to get this done. Dan called everyone in Washington, D.C., all of the administrative department heads, our mayor. This is really, and from our Madam Mayor, I have to give her kudos, because as many people put so much effort into it, she got it done. So Mayor Carolyn Goodman really got this Purple Heart done, and all of the folks around her pushed it and worked it hard.
Yeah, it was something. What happened is that Nono was actually part of the D-Day invasion back on June 6, 1944. He was wounded in the assault on the beach, but the medic who treated him got killed in the battle.
Yes.
And so there was really no record that Nono had been injured. But he was pretty severely wounded. And so after 77 years, they finally were able to award him his Purple Heart. And I'm glad he's around at 98 years old to have received it after all this time.
Here's one of the really amazing things. That Purple Heart got mailed to the wrong address. And the person that received it in her mailbox tracked him down to get it to him. A total stranger, not living close. Just, you know, so it was really meant to be.
It was.
And No personally, number one, he's an Italian New Yorker. Okay, so what does that tell you? You know, when we asked No, you know, how many kids do you have, No? He's like, well, I got 4, and then we adopted 2, you know, and I was the milkman. So who knows? So who knows how many no-nos are going to come out of Ancestry.com or you know, all of those things. But no, and let me tell you, he's amazing. 98 years old. He asked me out to dinner. You know, I have to check my calendar on that, and I love him. I love No.
Well, he's a tough guy because in his years in the war, not only was it the D-Day invasion, but he was also at the Battle of the Bulge and survived both those battles, finally to get his Purple Heart this year. The ceremony took place at City Hall, but he'd actually obviously received it thanks to some help from a kind citizen just a few weeks before. So anyway, congratulations, No, and wishing you another 77 years. Go for it. Good for you. Love this too, Councilwoman. Some special memories. Speaking of New York, boy, it was a tough anniversary this year. You posted this on Facebook. I'm so glad that people remember this. You said, may we never forget what took place almost 20 years ago, losing almost 3,000 lives. And this was a ceremony that took place at a Police Memorial Park. You're out there, the mayor, Sheriff Lombardo, and it's just to remember those that we lost. Councilman, explain the 1013 Club from New York, retired New York police officers.
There's Charlie.
Yeah, and he organizes this event, but obviously this is to remember, we lost firefighters that day, we lost police officers. This is to remember all those that we lost on that day.
Yeah, Charlie Licata, who started 1013, and really, he's such an amazing man. This is such an important event because 9/11, people have to remember, you know, people get attacked all the time, but when we came together, united, right? United, and some of the things and some of the people that were saved and found were just from, just from hard grit, not giving up that first night, and finding folks. I took my grandson Jake a few weeks before September 11th
I remember you
to the memorial in New York City, and so he can see where the Twin Towers were and what they were now and get the lessons. And then we went up on the observation deck so he could see around the whole city. And, you know, he was really impressed. 11 years old, understood like what took place. And, you know, it's just history that we can't forget. So we never repeat it again.
No, and clearly we don't. We saw the survivor tree in the video. That was a seedling from a tree that had been buried in all the rubble in New York City. When workers were clearing the site, they discovered this tree. It was still alive. They transplanted the thing. The Parks Department in New York nursed it back to health, and the tree thrived. So seedlings were given to cities that suffered their own traumatic events. We had, of course, our October 1 shooting in 2017. And we got 2 of the seedlings. So one is at Police Memorial Park, the other's at Fire Station 5. So.
Yeah, and that's really special. I mean, it's really, really special to get that seedling from that tree. Yeah. So, and we'll watch it, and we'll visit it, and we'll touch it. And
looks like it's doing well. It's going to thrive here in the desert. So plenty of water and good care from our parks people. And then, speaking of the October 1 shooting, we remembered that. We had that anniversary. Marked at the Healing Garden. That's a solemn ceremony where we read the names of those that we lost, ring a bell, and light a candle, and that's what took place. You were out there that night. You joined us.
And
that
you know,
night.
Their family comes back every year.
Yeah, it's really
the family members come back every year, and you know, I have to give our carekeepers. You know, we have a lot of volunteers that take care of the Healing Garden, and they do such a beautiful job. And every year, the trees. I mean, it's only been 4 years, and it's a forest now.
Yeah.
It's literally a forest.
It
and
has
it's-
really grown.
and it's
If you haven't been out there in a
beautiful.
while, the trees have gotten much larger. All the plants out there. It's been 4 years
You
later.
can't really
Yeah.
do an aerial shot anymore because the trees cover the whole
It's
thing.
exactly right. You
Yeah.
can't see it.
It's really,
a huge
it's amazing.
canopy
And
going
you
on,
and
yeah.
our mayor did such a great job
Thank
that
you.
night.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Again, it means so much to so many who were touched by that event, especially to the family members who come back each year, and it's always a night that will really raise a lump in your throat for sure. So, Councilwoman, one of the things we pride ourselves here on at the city is the fact that we have facilities. You talked about this for people with different needs. You call them differently abled citizens. I like
Yes.
this. And you posted this on Facebook. You said, "Did you know that the city of Las Vegas has several programs for our differently abled citizens?"
Yeah.
And it's about inclusion, right?
It totally is about inclusion. And again, our city staff, like Jen, who works with them every day, she's amazing. And these folks are amazing. And they're our neighbors, they're our friends, they're our family. And they are differently abled. And we've got to love them and learn from them. And that's what we do.
Well, and it's important that I think a lot of people don't realize all the things that the city offers at our community centers, in our parks, for people who have, call them differently abled or special needs, whatever word you want to use. Those facilities exist for them.
Yes, they do, and it is important. I do a lot of mailings in my ward to let my constituents know what we're doing, and it's really pretty cool. I think that's why we get such a great turnout.
Yeah, you do. And that's a perfect segue into what we're going to talk about next, because your volunteers out there really wait till you see this, folks. You posted this on Facebook. You said, Ward 6 has some of the best volunteers that help keep our parks clean and graffiti free. Now look at the army of people. Look at this.
Yeah.
These are all volunteers that come out
they
and
are
just help
amazing.
keep the parks clean.
They
Wow.
really are amazing, because we can't just do it all ourselves. I mean, our Floyd Lamb Park gets like 50,000 visitors a month. So, I mean, it's really amazing. And, you know, through the holidays, we're going to be doing Christmas out there, you know, but it's amazing that people come out and care and live. I mean, we have our new bike park out there. We have horses that ride out there all the time. We have people that run out there, people that do birthday parties and weddings. And I mean, every time I'm on Instagram and I see all the people posting their photos at Floyd Lamb Park, beautiful photography goes on out there.
Yeah, because it's such a gorgeous place. Yeah, exactly. You know, we've got a great Parks and Rec team that gets out there and cleans the parks.
Yes.
And they do a beautiful job. But they can't get to every little micro trash bit here and there. And so when we get volunteers that come out and you bring, as you saw, an army of people like that, boy, it's just amazing how much you can get done in a short amount of time, and how the park really sparkles after that. So
It is amazing.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
Well, folks, thanks so much. Again, if you're interested in being a volunteer, before the end of the show, we'll tell you how to reach out to Councilwoman Fiore.
Yep.
Go on the city's website. We'd love to hear from you. Again, that taking pride in your neighborhood, in your area of town, really makes a big difference.
It does.
Makes us a community.
It does. It does.
Well, that is pretty cool, and so also pretty cool, Councilwoman. We need to take a short break, but when we return, we'll tell you about the active Hindu community in Las Vegas. That's next, so please stay with us.
If you've been affected by suicide, you're not alone. Suicide is a leading cause of death that affects millions each year. In most cases, it happens when stressful life events overload the coping abilities of someone suffering from a mental health condition. And the most common condition associated with suicide is depression, an illness that goes undiagnosed or untreated far too often. But the research is clear. Suicide is preventable if we work together. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention has set a bold goal to reduce the annual suicide rate 20% by 2025. We can save tens of thousands of lives, but we need the help of everyday heroes like you. People have suffered in silence for too long, and too many families have had to weather their losses alone. You can change that. We need you to be the voice for suicide prevention, and it can be as simple as reaching out to a friend, because talk saves lives. If you're having thoughts of suicide, or if you're concerned about someone else, assume you are the only one who will reach out. You can also join hundreds of thousands across the country for our Out of the Darkness community walks and raise awareness of suicide within your community. Together, we'll bring hope to those affected by suicide and raise awareness to save lives. Learn how you can fight suicide. Visit afsp.org today.
Welcome back, everyone. Las Vegas is known as a very culturally diverse city. And did you know October is Hindu Heritage Month? Here to give us some insight into the thriving Hindu community in Las Vegas is Sudha Jagannathan. Sudha, welcome to the program. Great to have you on board. And Councilwoman, I know that this is something that you love to highlight is the cultural diversity of our city.
I love it because being born and raised in New York City, we have a lot of cultural diversity, and we don't acknowledge it as much here in Nevada, but I will tell you, the city of Las Vegas does a great job
We try to,
on
exactly.
our cultural diversity, and Sudha is an amazing woman who does so many amazing things for so many people.
So, Sudha, a lot of people may not realize that we have a pretty significant Hindu population here in Las Vegas, right?
That's correct. I believe there are about 10,000 Hindus living in Las Vegas. You know, we are professionals in the city. We add to the diversity, as you mentioned. We run businesses, and we add to the, I would like to say, the culinary palette of Las Vegas. There are grocery stores where you can browse through and see what Indian, food items and other things are available. So there is a thriving Hindu community in Las Vegas. And also, if you have not seen, there is an amazingly beautiful Hindu temple in Summerlin. So that is a place where a lot of Hindus gather up to celebrate festivals, or just on weekends they show up there.
Very good. So October is Hindu Heritage Month. Is there a significance about October versus another month of the year?
Yes. Well, I have to say every day is some festival in India and for Hindus, but October particularly is important because that is the month that the worldwide Hindu community celebrates a festival called Navaratri. Nav means 9, Ratri means nights. It is a 9 nights and days that we set aside and celebrate women and girls. So Navaratri is very significant in that sense. So it usually falls in October because we Hindus follow a lunar calendar. So the Navaratri festival falls in October and followed by Diwali. So this year Diwali happens on November 4th. So October is when our Navaratri festival happens. So many states took advantage of this to designate October as a Hindu Heritage Month. And I want to say I'm extremely grateful for the fact that the governor's office took care of it in a very quick and fast way with the fantastic support from his staff. So Nevada has recognized October as Hindu Heritage Month.
Well, and to the Councilwoman's point, that's what we love to do here, is recognize.
Exactly what we love.
So we are a very diverse city. People have called Las Vegas the melting pot of the melting pot. And I know you certainly agree with that, and we embrace that.
We do. I mean, my dad was born and raised in Neucatro, Bari, Italy, so it's, and coming out and seeing all of the different cultures in New York, I love seeing that here in Las Vegas, because we are a big little city, you know.
are.
I mean, we don't have 33 million like we do in New York, but we have 3 million.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, Councilman, I know as far as the Hindu community here, I think you're hoping that we learn more about
Yes.
that community and
start doing festivals with them and
Exactly.
bring them to our city and start having them on in the chambers with us on our special months. So we definitely want to make sure that our Hindu community is involved in all of our activities. And she does so much. I got to tell you, Sudha does so much more than she's not saying, but she's a rock star for girls, for women, for the state of Nevada, a rock star.
Sudha, talk a little bit about that. That's really something for the Hindu community to lift up young women and girls, especially as so many more opportunities for young women and girls open. And has the Hindu culture kind of been ahead of everybody else when it comes to that?
Well, when you think about it, if whatever you know of Hinduism, we celebrate the divine in nature, and we have goddesses. We are basically a monotheistic faith, but we revere every aspect of nature, and that includes both the female and the male. So when you look at goddesses, our girls, our women are goddesses, right? So the Navaratri was one way of celebrating it. So when we see atrocities happening against girls and women around the world, now we are taking action, because we cannot always count on countries and to step up and do the right thing, right? So I know that Las Vegas has a very strong NGO committee here that takes care of women and abuse of women and girls very seriously, and we also want to extend it a little bit further outside of the United States, where we see these same things happen. So that is where the Councilwoman and of course Congresswoman Susie Lee's office were supportive of a silent vigil we conducted on September 18th to raise the issue of minority faith girls in some of the countries around the India, where the religion is used as a weapon to abuse girls. So we want to raise this very as a serious issue, because US taxpayer dollars go to these countries, and we want to make sure the country takes some of our partners to account where the money goes. So that was the point of a September 18th vigil we conducted, not only in Las Vegas but around the country, also in Europe and Australia and Kenya. And I think we'll see more of this, because we just want to give voice to particularly girls and women who don't have agency over their own lives.
Yeah. Sudha, it's such a good point that you make there, and interestingly enough, it fits in with Las Vegas so much, because stopping human trafficking of various kinds is something that we've taken very, very seriously here in Las Vegas. Our firefighters are all trained on what to look for if a young girl is perhaps being pulled into a life of prostitution. So it's something on the screen, the radar screen here in Las Vegas for our first responders. And so what you're talking about fits right in with what Las Vegas has been trying to do for so many years, right, Councilman?
And that's what we, on September 18th, Jerry from Congresswoman Susie Lee's office, myself and Sudha, and some of our Indian community came together at one of our parks, and we did a vigil for the girls that are being trafficked across the world. And it's a serious issue that Sudha really fights a lot on a daily basis. And so she just wants to make sure governments across other countries are accountable for the monies that they receive, that they are not helping or hoarding, hiding girls that are trafficked.
Yeah. Well, again, it's something that we take very seriously here in Las Vegas, and so we're just spreading the reach around the world. And very good. Sudha, we're about out of time here, but I want to give you the final word. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Tell us about the Hindu community, something maybe we don't know that we'd like to learn. This is your opportunity to kind of enlighten us a little bit.
Thank you very much. I want to make sure that we become more visible in Las Vegas, and we want to take advantage of every opportunity to educate you about who we are. And to that end, just like a lot of other communities are facing, we face what we call Hindu phobia. And one way to counter phobia is to educate, right? Let folks know who we are, what we are all about, and how peaceful and contributing we are to the community in general. So I think every opportunity we have, we want to take that on. And I was listening earlier to the councilwoman and you talking about volunteers in her ward. So we want to actually do volunteers by the Hindus of Las Vegas in maybe Ward 6, and we'll continue that. So you get to know us even better.
Well, Sudha, be careful what you wish for, because she will put you to work. No question about it.
Yeah.
No, that would be great. We'd love to have you come out. We've had many different religious groups come out to help us in volunteer efforts.
Yes.
Different faiths of all types. So, Sudha, you'll be in welcome company to have the Hindus come out as well. That'd be great. So.
Thank you.
Councilman, anything you want to add as well?
No, I just want to thank our guest, Sudha, for coming on with us and all that she does. And just tell everyone I love you, and we'll be back.
Yeah, well,
We
Sudha,
love
again,
you too, Councilwoman. We do.
Sudha, thank you so much. And I think you hit on a really good point there. When we get to know other people, we find out they're just people like we are. And,
Yeah.
and it's like you say, it takes away that phobia of people who are quote unquote different. And come to find out, when you get to know them, we're really not that much different. So.
Yeah.
Well, Sudha, again, a pleasure having you on the program, and love to hear from you in the future if you're willing to come back and visit with us.
Yes, of course, and thank you for inviting me.
All right, Sudha, thank you so much. And folks, we want to tell you out there, we always want to hear from you. So if you have something you'd like to share with Councilwoman Fiore, you can find her on Facebook and Twitter. You can also contact her by picking up the phone, 702-229-6405, or send her an email. Her address is mfiore@lasvegasnevada.gov. And she or one of her great staff will get right back to you and help you out with whatever's going on in your neck of the woods. So, well, Councilwoman, thank you so much. Great show. A lot of information in there, and a great discussion with Sudha. And we'll have you back in 6 weeks with another update from Ward 6.
So exciting.
We're going to be
so
right
exciting.
into the holidays by
Oh,
then.
yeah. We're going to do big things.
All right. Well, it's great to see you. Thank you so much. And we want to thank you for joining us for this edition of Access City Council. Our next show begins airing on October 28th with Ward 1 City Councilman Brian Knudsen. You can catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire, and watch for our QR code in the closing credits of this show to subscribe to our newsletter. Also, don't forget you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time around.